Let's go out to the D&M Leasing Hotline, talk to Mr. Voch Lombardi of YouTube, draft, constituent, smart film breakdown, whatever word you want to put on him. Voch Lombardi. Voch, how you doing today, boss?
What's up, fellas? What's up to everybody that's listening? And shouts out to D&M Leasing. Shouts out to all them, man, paying for this segment, you know?
We love that. We love that, yes. I've been on, Voch, we've had you on before, but it was me and Reggie doing the Get Right, and that was a great time. Hopefully this time can be just as good as we got your boy, Freddie D, on. Yes, sir. I want to get right into it, Voch. I haven't been able to hear from you this season. Did you expect the Cowboys to be where they are at this year, and do you expect them to get a win on Monday versus Cincinnati Bengals?
So to answer your first question, man, I think we all walk into this thing, and, you know, everybody may not be Super Bowl people, but at least we'll walk in going, all right, we can beat this team, and this team. And, boy, it has been a shock to the system that we losing to this team, and this team. So now we got to reevaluate how we look at this whole thing, man. And normally I'm happy guy. I'm super fan guy. I'm optimistic. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, let's go out there and take care of business, man. But now we're way close to the bottom. I'm like, all right, let's just go ahead and lose these next few games so that we can get a dude. I mean, everybody wants to win. They say, oh, well, the players, they need this win, Voch. The players go out there to play and win, right? But the players will love a really good teammate in the draft coming up, right? Yep. So I'm trying to – well, actually, I can't do anything because I don't play, right? But I would love for my Dallas Cowboys to just, hey, Dak is hurt. Some of your best guys are hurt. We've been hurt all year. Leave some of those guys out, let them be hurt, and let us get this really good draft pick so we can get this really good dude so that when we get to April, we're not complaining that we beat the Bengals and got nothing from it. You know what I mean? How terrible does that sound? Hey, guys, we beat Carolina, and that's what we got to look for. You know what I mean? That sounds terrible. You don't want to be in this type of mode. You either want to be a Super Bowl contender or you want to be terrible.
Yep.
If you 8-9, well 10 now, 8-9, sure. If you 8-9 or anything like that, man, that is nonsense. That is horrible, deplorable. So, you know, depending on what we do this next week and the week after that is how happy I'm going to be about being a Cowboy fan.
Well, Voch, I mean, I'll tell you what, you took the words right out of our mouth because that's what we were talking about in the last segment. I mean, look, we'd love to see them go 1-4 over this next stretch because they will find a way to stumble into a victory in these next 5. We just hope they don't stumble into too many. And so tell the folks at home a little bit about the difference between, you know, if you do ride this thing out and go 1-4 down the stretch like we're hoping they do and you end up, what 6-10 or 6-11 or something like that versus if they went 3-2 or something, where if you're picking in that 7, 8, or 9 spot versus picking that 13, 14, 15 spot, what is the difference when you're talking about 5 or 6 different draft spots?
I have a really good memory, okay? So last year, there was this big conversation about the New York Giants and the Washington Football Wizards, right? About who's going to lose the games and who's going to be in prime position to go get Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels type character, right? And, boy, the Giants just had to have a little bit of pride at the end, didn't they? Boy, they had to have a little bit of pride, didn't they? Marcellus Wallace said it, right? Forget pride. F pride, right? Go out there and do your thing. So the Washington Football Wizards, right, they're this team that they got this ugly feel around them. There's sewage all on the field. The grass is dirty. The owners are creep. And it's terrible to be a Washington Football Wizard player or fan. Boy, all of a sudden they got swag, don't they? They got energy. They look like a brand new team. It's cool to root for them. People betting on them now. You get to pick them in the betting apps. They got players players we didn't even know last year. We know them all of a sudden. Christian McCaffrey, brother over there playing receiver. We know things about these dudes.
Yeah.
Getting dudes and changing the face of your franchise matters. And look, there's nothing wrong with getting a good player. Take a look at, let's say 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago, the Minnesota Vikings were kind of bad, but they weren't terrible, right? So they ended up getting Christian Darrisaw. And look, don't get me wrong. Christian Darrisaw is a fun player. He's a good guy. I like Christian Darrisaw. But you know who he ain't? He ain't Jamar Chase. He ain't Micah Parsons. He ain't Rashawn Slater. He isn't one of these guys that's going to change the nature and the face of your franchise. You want somebody that's going to change the culture of your franchise. These dudes that I just mentioned, Jamar Chase, those type of guys, they change the fortune of your franchise. Pat Surtain changed the fortune of your franchise, right? Christian Darrisaw may change the fortune of how you look at left tackle for the Vikings. That's not enough for me, right? So let's just go ahead and take care of business, man. We're going to be talking to Dane Brugler later, so I'm going to ask him, what's this what's this median, this happy median where Cowboy fans that want to win can win some games, but we're right in that prime position to get an elite dude? I'm going to ask him that. And if I had to guess, I think it'll be anywhere between 7, 8, 9, 10, or 12. If we can get anywhere between 7 to 12, we good. But, boy, if we at 14, we're going to have a lousy draft night.
You're listening to Voch Lombardi on YouTube, NFL Draft, Film Breakdown, taking care of all those things for you. Tolos, Voch, what, if you had to guess, and I'm sure you've talked about it on your show, and you're going to talk about it again with Dane tonight, which I'll be very in tune to hear what y'all have to talk about. What position group do you think needs to be addressed the most? And you could throw out a couple. I know we could probably say the whole team, but if you had to rank them, what are kind of those 3 position groups where you think in those first 3 rounds of the draft, you have got to address these or it'd be malpractice for this football team?
Well, when you're just looking at it micro, like, it's kind of cool to say, okay, yeah, we need everything, right? But when you start, watching players and you start putting faces to names and all this kind of stuff, then you kind of figure out, okay, where the actual guys are and what's, like, really good where. So, for example, you may want like a tackle or something, right? Terrence Steele making you sick. I think Terrence Steele is not as bad as people say, but let's just say hypothetically online, Terrence Steele making you sick. So you might go, all right, cool, I want to get a right tackle here. Well, if you picking at the 7th overall pick, you may not want the tackles that are there. Campbell from LSU and Banks from Texas, you may not want the tackles right there. Why wouldn't you want tackles right there, Voch? Well, because there's this dude, Ted McMillan from Arizona, that plays wide receiver, who's a bona fide dude that you would love to pair with CeeDee Lamb, right? Well, Voch, why wouldn't I want tackle there? Like, you can build your offensive line, all this kind of stuff, right? But you don't want to reach for something if it's not there for you, especially when you could get this running back, Ashton Jeanty, who's a bona fide stud, one of them dudes that'll change the fortune, that'll change the face of your franchise. Ashton Jeanty will do it for you, right? So you have to think about not just what I need, because if you draft on what you need, you're taking Chason over Lamb in 2018 or something like that, and you don't want to do that. That's a big mistake. We're going to be pissed off about that. Giants fans still kicking themselves about that, right? But you don't want to make that kind of mistake. So what you got to do, and the Cowboys are really good at this, they pick the best player in the first round, and we'll just figure it out. So if I had to guess, in this first round is either going to be a wide receiver. Travis Hunter's long gone right now because we want to win games. But Luther Burden from Missouri, he's a guy. McMillan from Arizona, he's the guy. Maybe you're looking at a running back, Ashton Jeanty, he's the dude you're looking for. If you're the type to build some defense, like me, right? Carter from Penn State, bona fide pass rusher, look like Micah Parsons, rush like Micah Parsons, whereas 11 like Micah Parsons, plays D-end and linebacker just like Micah Parsons. If you want to add that to the mix, cool. If you want to add a tackle, Mason Graham is there. And if you want to draft any one of those guys, then when you get to round 2 and round 3, you can really do what you want to do because your team's absolutely horrible right now and is lacking in depth. But if it's up to me, I would love to go running back or wide receiver early, give me a D tackle later, and then you could possibly give me like an offensive lineman in the 3rd round, maybe.
We're talking with Voch Lombardi. When I look at, and we got about a couple minutes left, is there, and like you alluded to.
Man. Sorry, I killed all your time.
No. Hey, look, no, you're doing your thing. Look, we just don't want to run too late. Plus, I know you got you and Brodish are doing your thing at 8:00, and I don't want to get yelled at for keeping you on for too long. But so first round, and like I said, we'll have a better idea once after these next 5 weeks, then we'll be able to kind of hone in on where this team's going to be at draft wise, position wise, and all that good stuff. But is there a 2nd or 3rd round guy? Because look, Overshown has been arguably the best draft pick you've hit on the last 2 years, and people are feeling really, really good about that. Who's a 2nd or 3rd round guy that you've got your eyeballs on right now that you'd love to see in a Cowboys uniform?
He wants you to say Devin Neal.
I'd love for you to say Devin Neal. I mean, I'll say it, but you tell me somebody.
It's so funny, man. I like Devin Neal a bunch, and it's kind of like I want to gatekeep Devin.
Hey, let's mum's the word right now. I'm good with it.
Because, look, I'm a fan of him, right? But all of a sudden, he runs all over Colorado, and everybody want to run. Like, yo, Voch, what about Devin Neal? And I'm like, hey, man, Devin Neal's a dude. He's definitely a day 2 dude you can look at. But I think defensive tackle gets really good in day 2.
Okay.
Because I think what's going to happen is you're going to have so many tackles that could go in round 1 that some of those guys are just kind of going to fall a little bit, right? So you're looking at, Tyleek Williams from Ohio State, Derek Harmon from Oregon. There's this one player that's really strange, man, Deion Walker, man, Kentucky. And he's like a David Irving type of character. You know what I'm saying? To where when he's on, he's beating the hell out of everybody. You go, damn, boy, this highlight tape got him looking like a Pro Bowler in college, but then when he's off, he's looking like David Irvin when he's off. You know what I'm saying? So I think like some of his character stuff, some of his, low-key film is kind of going to drive him down the board a little bit. But the Cowboys love guys like that, where you're a first-round type talent, but you fell down the board a little bit because of like a character concern. Or if you're looking at offensive linemen, Josh Simmons, I'm saying this really, really early. He's my tackle number one. I love him to pieces. Josh Simmons from Ohio State. He's my tackle number one, but he tore an ACL, right? Boy, Jerry Jones and them boys, send him to Dr. Cooper. Let him do the surgery, man. Siobhan Rivell, cornerback from East Carolina, tore his ACL also. Dr. Cooper did the surgery. Oh, boy. So he's a first-round talent. These are all first-round talents that could fall and be second-round guys for whatever reason. I think those are some prime targets. And if we're just talking Cowboys speak, Cowboys love guys like that. We don't have to rush, man. If y'all got another question, we can go to like 57, 58, because I know I'm long-winded, man. But go ahead. My bad.
No, Voch, you're great. You were great as always. Just when you look at this team, what are the player or position that you're evaluating the most in these next 5 weeks? For me, it's the safety position. I feel like it's been a position that's been overlooked at some points, underlooked. I have my eyeballs fixated on them. Is there a position group or player specifically that you have your eyeballs on for the next 5 weeks for the Dallas Cowboys?
Let me tell you what I'm disliking about safety, man. And I hate I got to do this on the radio, the flagship radio station of the Dallas Cowboys and all that. I think we have the safeties to be really good at safety. I just don't think that they let them play. They hurt now. Wanye Thomas and Marquise Bell are like really good safeties for you. They just didn't get an opportunity to play for whatever reason. I'm not there. I'm not part of the Cowboy Illuminati, but they just weren't there for you. But I think there were young players that were ready to go out there and play for you. But I think you really have to figure out what these big boys got so that you can know how to draft moving forward. So Marshawn Nealon playing at end for you. All right, Marshawn Nealon, we would love to move on and not think about defensive end, man. So show us a little something. Austin Richards. All right, Austin Richards, are you a guy that could play? Are you a guy that's going to be the new Chuma when Chuma Doga is gone? Like, I got questions for you. I would love to see some young running backs get involved just to see if anybody can be running back 3 after we draft a guy and, Rico's not going to be here. So some of the things that Mike McCarthy says that he wants to do that he really doesn't do for real, like get Lipke to football. Let's see what Lipke looks like, just see if he's a roster guy for next year. Questions like that. Hey, Jonathan Mingo, boy, we spent this big 4th-round pick that I would love to have in the draft, boy, but hey, I hope you got something for me. But most importantly, I would love to see what your third quarterback Trey Lance has in store, but Jerry Wayne Jones don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So,
but don't you? I think we can all agree. We kind of know what Trey's got, don't we? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
We do know, but do we really?
I think we do.
We do know. And look, I'm with you.
Hey, think about it this way: who's selling more tickets? All right, because you saw that Monday night game against the Texans. You saw that Thursday Thanksgiving game. All right, you think people are coming out their seats to go see Cooper Rush? But if I told you Trey Lance was starting, I promise you, Blake and I aren't looking at 30% empty seats, and the ones that we are seeing, it's mostly red. Look, I'd love to talk to you some more, but we're up against it, and I'm going to get yelled at if I'm late on my break. So I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what,
we'll do it again.
We're going to do this again real soon. Tell our boy Broadus quit being bougie for his synthetic oil. Make sure you bring that up to him, and let's do this again real soon. Hell, we might even talk some more KU football when it's all said and done.
Appreciate your player, Voch Lombardi on YouTube. Salute, thanks for having me.